Hi, my name is Shanta Thomas. I am one of the partners in Advanced Tax Planners, BFO, and what we do is help small businesses and individuals of high net worth be able to eliminate or vastly reduce their taxes. The definition for tax planning, at least from our perspective, is to be able to take your tax liabilities. Another word to say that are the taxes that you are paying in to the government or the state, and instead turn them into cash producing assets. You are not just eliminating taxes and then can use that money for whatever you want. So you may not be able to use the money right away, but you might be able to use that money down the road, not only for you, but for generations to come. So look at it as an investment opportunity. The second thing I want you to know is that you don't want to follow the gurus on social media. There's so much misinformation out there around tax planning and the things that you can do in your business, and even on the personal side, that those things are not only risky, but some of them borderline, if not completely, are tax fraud. So you don't want to put yourself in a position where the IRS or the state are coming after you for making mistakes, from following somebody who's not going to be held accountable for the information that they gave you. And the third thing I want you to know, which kind of follows up on the second thing, is there are legal ways that you can actually reduce and even completely eliminate your taxes. When you hear professionals say that they don't pay taxes, that's a very real thing. But in order to do that, they are spending the money that is necessary for them to be able to reduce or eliminate their taxes. So there are ways that you can do it, but you want to do it legally. You want to make sure that you have the right support in tow. The three biggest myths when it comes to tax planning. The first one is you can do it on your own. I don't advise anyone to do tax planning on their own. It's actually one of the very first things I ask every single client when they come into my office. If you're doing your bookkeeping on your own, if you're doing your tax prep on your own, I won't work with you. And I always get the question, why? Well, if the IRS then comes and audits you as a result of the tax planning, which is not necessarily uncommon, right? Audits are not a bad thing, or it's not a scary thing. But if you don't have the right information to support what you're saying on the tax return, then it becomes a problem. So if everything on my side is correct and I can substantiate everything to the IRS, but the things that you created and that you gave me are not correct, then now I'm going to have issues substantiating my information. Not only that, they're going to ding you for everything that you did wrong on your side. So now you're going to be in a position where not only are you going to pay all of that money back, but you're going to do so with penalty and interest. The second myth is thinking that this is not an investment. This is an investment not only from one front, but actually from two. So you have to look at it as, one, you need to hire a professional to come in and to help you put these things in place. I don't recommend anyone do it on their own because there are just so many compliance issues that are required from not only from an IRS, but also a state perspective. So if you don't clearly understand that and you're putting yourself in some sort of investment that you don't clearly understand how it works from a tax side, you can actually cause yourself a lot of harm. And again, we're looking at having to not only pay that money back, but do so with interest and penalty. The second way that it's an investment is many times when you're working with a professional like myself, we're going to take that money again and put it into some sort of cash producing asset. So that money's not going into your pocket, but we're putting it into an asset that's going to pay you back your investment over so many years. Normally, it can be anywhere from 1 to 4 years. In some cases, you're actually going to end up not only getting your investment back, but 3 to 4 times that investment over a number of years. So these are investments that you cannot find nor be able to invest in on your own. So you need a professional to not only help you invest, but then you need that professional to tell you what are the best investments for your specific situation. Let me give you an example. I recently had a client come to me who owed $1.5 million in 2021. They wanted to be able to reduce that tax through investing. So what my firm did is we worked with the client to be able to take the money that they owed the IRS and instead put that $1.1 million into a solar investment. That solar investment created a credit along with some other deductions for the client, so it completely eliminated 1.1 million of the 1.5 million in taxes. So now they don't owe that 1.1, they only had to pay the government 400 of the 1.5 million, and the rest goes into the program that's gonna not only pay them their investment back, but it's gonna actually pay out assets over the next 35 years that will total almost $5 million. Myth number 3 is that you can trust social media to help you make the right investments for your business. When you go to do these same things that you've heard from these social media gurus, you are not going to be able to implement it in a way that it should be implemented. And in some cases, it's trying to implement something that you should not be implementing altogether in your specific situation. So it's important that you work with a professional and not follow the gurus, because it may not be something that you should be implementing, or you more than likely cannot implement it properly. The biggest mistake that people make is they follow the social media gurus. I know I keep hammering this same thing, but this is one of the questions that comes to me and other professionals all of the time. I heard that I can buy a G-Wagon in my business that only makes $30,000 a year. You can if you want to get audited and you want to pay that money back. I don't suggest you do that. So don't follow what you hear. Work with a professional that knows what they're doing and can specifically work in your situation. So now when you are putting money towards different investments that are going to help you reduce your taxes, you can do that in a way that you know that you're going to be fully compliant and is going to work in your specific case. So if you want to get started with tax planning, the very first thing you're going to need to do is find a professional that can assist you with tax planning. Again, this is not something that you want to do on your own, because you're just going to open yourself to unnecessary risk. The second thing you want to do is make sure that you have liquid assets, aka cash, for the investments, not only to the professional that's going to help you find the best commodities to invest in, but you also need to have the cash in order to make the investments themselves. The third thing that you want to make sure you do if you want to get started is trust the process. If you've never done this before, some of the things are going to sound a little odd, maybe a little scary, but understand that if you're working with the right company, one like ours, we've had our attorneys, we've had our tax attorneys, we've had former IRS agents working with us and on the back end to make sure that every investment we put our clients in is not only risk adverse, but also something that's what we call audit proof, which means if we were ever audited or that client was ever audited, they're going to be able to pass the audit with flying colors. So make sure you're working with the right companies and just trust that entire process all the way through, even though there may be some things that you don't quite understand. The best way to get in touch with us is by sending an email to info@theadvancedtaxplanners.com.
The Convo, your home for conversations on Black entrepreneurship and wealth, available on your favorite platforms.